Welcome to November 2025 World Astrology and your own special report. Today, we're going to talk about how we have a beautiful trine between Saturn flowing through the sky and a really lovely activation of Jupiter. And those two together do bring a long-standing potential for rewards through hard work and effort. But we also have a lot of other elements playing out through our sky that can bring some unexpected or alarming or shocking stories to the world. Particularly, I'm thinking also of the 3-eye Atlas story gaining some momentum around suspicious hidden variables. Also, I want to talk about the idea that November has this Mercury in the heart of the sun on November 20th, cazimi. Now, for the world, that can be an disclosure, whistleblower, bit of information, or shocking, surprising story connected to anything in the world stories that we kind of were waiting for and thought what might happen, but now we know it's going to happen. Like what really is going on, that China and NASA are not revealing any photos that were taken back in October 2nd about this particular comet. So we're going to dive into that too. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Lori Lothian. I'm a Western tropical zodiac astrologer. I'm known here on YouTube for doing world astrology. However, due to some issues with algorithmic suppression and demonetization with YouTube, because of controversial topics in world astrology, I've moved a lot of content to the Pluto Chronicles at Substack, where I write about it and it's all free. And if you want to check that out for where I'm more unplugged and you can hear what really I think about it as well, go over there and just subscribe for free. But here I will cover it with code names as needed. Okay, so I'll find code names not to get triggered by the algorithmic suppressors here and see what I can create. Also, I want you to know something else. I want to tell you about one of my favorite things about astrology is that I'm helping you navigate your life by being proactive, going with the flow of the sky, understanding some of the weather patterns that are coming up in your sign in any given week or month. Same thing applies to a whole year. And so if you want to try to use that to kind of foreknowledge to time your best life in 2026, I'm in the middle of recording those videos now for you. And they'll be all ready to go December 1st. But every year, as I record these 2 to 2.5 hour videos with a PDF guidebook for your sign, I also give you a pre-sale price if you pre-order it before it's actually available. It will be delivered to your inbox on December 1st. And it's the All Signs Bundle, 12 videos, 2+ hours each, and in-depth month-by-month guidance, as well as a big picture overview for your sign. So each one is tailored to your sign, sun, moon, or rising. If you get the bundle, you can listen to all three. What a great email stocking stuffer for your friends and family at Christmas, because they get all of that too. You buy it for you, share with everyone you love. It makes a great little Christmas bonus gift. All right, so check below in my description box so you can order that pre-sale price. After that, it's $66, $44 now, and then we'll never go back to $44 for the bundle. Alrighty? Let's get going. I made a graphic for you guys all by myself. I actually was an art student, and I was tossing in high school whether I wanted to go into fine arts or journalism, and I went into journalism, but I do like creating graphics and making things, and I chose a lot of like pastel colors for us for November. So I'm going to show you the graphic for you to screenshot, so you have a cheat sheet for all the major things you need to know about in the month of November. You can take a screenshot and then put that on your computer or on your phone, and it'll always be handy for you. And I don't want to forget something else. You know, I love Becca at Otter Spirit. She's got this great brand, donates to otters in the wild or otter rescue, but she's amazing. And this is all AAA gems. This is the mini trio. These are also Otter Spirit, but I'm sharing the October special because this is orange adventurine, and this is leopard skin. And the other one in my trio is called Unakite. If you want to get any of their stuff in the month of anytime, I got a code for you down below for 20% off or 30% off if you order more than $99. I like the kind of way that they create these little cards that go with them. And it comes with a felt pouch and a beautiful gift box if you're gifting. I find joy in each moment, and the intention is healing. And it's for the heart chakra, Taurus, Scorpio, Cancer, Virgo. So each one of these stones gives you a sense of why you would want to wear them. And for a while, I was feeling really heavily trolled, and I was wearing a very protective stone in one of my stone sets from them that is about protection. So sometimes I think I need it. This is orange adventurine. I embrace limitless joy and limitless possibilities. That's the orange one on here. And then this one is the leopard skin. Who doesn't need a little leopard skin? And that is for I stay strong through life's changes. So I support these guys because I love what they do. And I just wanted to share that with you. And if you want to see, by the way, which you might not want to see it, I'll show you their website. This is why you watch my messy desktop situation that I've got going. Why do I have that problem? Oh, because of the new Zoom doesn't pair with the Tahoma upgrade on my MacBook Pro, and there's no window share anymore. I just have to share everything with you and hide absolutely nothing. Can't hide my messy desktop from my fans. So you get the idea. See, isn't that beautiful? This is their website, and you can shop by intention, shop by zodiac trios. Intentions are like, do you want to get, love, confidence, money, success trios, or by zodiac signs? And it's really fun. It's just so much fun. So that's what I've got. So let's go ahead and talk about the sky. Take a picture of this. I really hope that it wasn't annoying you, but I love sharing what I love. And I don't get an affiliate fee off of that. So this is the graphic I'm going to show you once you get my messy desktop out of the way. And I can actually get the graphic up. Sorry about that, but it's way I'm operating now. Thank you to the issues with the Mac downloads. And here we have the graphic. Yay. I think I am sharing. I am. Yay. I made this with a lot of fun while I was listening to Eckhart Tolle on my phone. I'm becoming an Eckhart Tolle junkie. All right, so here's the highlights for November, and it's worth taking a screenshot because then you'll have it handy. Let's see if I can make this a little bit more large. There we have it, taking the whole screen up. I'm not going to just read this off to you. It's really for you to use, right? That's the whole point of it. But what I'd like to say about it, most particularly, is that you'll see that Venus is quite busy this month. She's always in pink. I always think of pretty in pink. That's your Venus. And she's doing a lot of stuff as well. She's really activating the sky. She's activating Jupiter. She's activating Pluto. She's activating Uranus. So one of our main players is Venus. She's like pretty well engineering change in the sky for all of us. And you'll notice also that we have a lot of planetary ingress changes and retrogradation changes. I forgot to add Saturn is going direct at the end of the month. I apologize, but Saturn will go direct on November 27th. I forgot to add that in there, but it's so close to the end of the month. You really feel the movement of his direct motion in December. We'll be covering that in December. You'll notice here that Mars will enter Sag on November 4th and Venus enters Scorpio on November 6th. So in essence, because Mars has been in Scorpio for like 6 weeks before November 4th, it's going to have a different vibration for the world. I don't know how you guys felt. I felt like when Mars was in Scorpio, there was a lot of disclosures and whistleblowing. JFK files released by Russia, their investigation. We had a bunch of whistleblower stories making the rounds in various parts of the narrative, and also conspiracy as Scorpio. And Mercury was joining Mars for the last 3 weeks before November 3rd. And that's when the Candace Owen show was broadcasting a huge amount of disclosures. For instance, the text exchange between Charlie Kirk and his teams and stuff about wanting to move away from supporting that particular nation of in the part of the world that is troubled, very badly troubled. And she disclosed that and revealed that to the world. And it had been kept hidden by her to see what some of the members would say. Like, one of his guys was saying, oh, no, he never ever turned his back on Israel. Well, he did. He decided no longer. I said the name of that country again. Damn it. Hopefully that's not going to be a problem here. Anyway, so you know what I'm saying. So there's a lot of that intensity, and it was really a lot of it, like, a lot of gunmen, like a lot of former Green Beret and people who are involved in the military, Navy SEALs, whatever, people who used weaponry, who were experts in munitions, were also coming out as like whistleblowers during the Mars and Scorpio. And then last 3 weeks before November 4th, Mercury joining him and saying, no, it wasn't that kind of gun. It couldn't be that kind of weapon. And, there's disclosures about a lot of that stuff, like what really happened, and a lot of investigation. Scorpio is sleuthing and investigative energy and forensic energy. And a lot of what was going on as Mars went through Scorpio, particularly with Mercury later on, was information and news about this stuff. All right. So that's the gist of it. Now we finally get Mars out of that part of the sky in Sagittarius, which will bring us into contact with things that are kinetic devices that fly through the sky and can cause harm, like an arrow. I'll leave that to your imagination. And that's code word, right? Kinetic devices flying through the sky like an arrow, but they're high tech. That's when Mars is in Sagittarius. Sagittarius can also be things that go through the sky flying, including non-identified objects, aerial phenomena that's anomalous, and we don't know what it is. And we're also going to get Mercury following into that part of the sky as well. When does he enter in there? I didn't write that down, but Mercury will enter into the Sag sky. Oh, he's already there November 3rd. So yeah, he's already in place on November the 1st. He's already there. It's like around Halloween that he moves into Sag. And so then Mars will catch up and join him. And so we'll see once Mars moves into Sagittarius after November 4th and through until Mercury, who retrogrades on the 10th of November and ends up going back on November 19th to Scorpio. Yeah, more of the disclosures and whistleblowers of conspiracy. But you'll see the beginning of November through to the 19th, but especially, let's say, when Mars gets into the fray. So from November 4th to the 19th, you might want to expect some really big news stories to do with the Three-Eye Atlas comet, in quotes, because right now there's a lot of suspicion about why both China, who took photos, and NASA have not released them. It's one thing for NASA to be on vacation because of a government shutdown, but there's no such thing going on in China. So there's a lot of conspiracy or concern or thought by astronauts. The Angry Astronaut channel is a good one. Sky observers, astronomers, why that data hasn't been given to the public. And very possible Mercury is the news guy, right? Whistleblowing or information or news. Mars is connected to military, but also Mars, because those photos were taken by the high-rise camera, for example, orbiting Mars, and China had also orbiting devices near Mars on October 2nd. Everybody took pictures. We didn't get any pictures to see. So if you're going to have any revealing around what really happened, I would suggest we'll get more information. Okay, that's a news story. That's a world story. We'll get some information about that between November the 6th and the 19th. But also we're going to note that the nation of Iran has a potential activation during this time as well. And so we may see, because of the way the sky lights up with the Sagittarius fire energy hitting the ascendant and the sun of Iran, that we're going to likely also see something going on there, where that nation gets a lot of news coverage for situations going on around its defense mechanisms it might need to engender around a particular hornet's nest predator rogue nation in the Middle East attacking. Okay. And as we continue to move down through the storyline as a general theme, because this is a courtesy screenshot for you guys, we'll be going through the sky together when I show you the wheel of the sky. I want you to everyone to know one thing in that first week of the month, when Venus is entering Scorpio on November the 6th, right? And she's not happy there. It's her discomforted place, the sign of Mars, stealth, war, investigation. She wants to just make love all day long. She wants to go to Woodstock and do some love and peace. She wants a flower power moment, but she can't get it in Scorpio. So she's what we call exiled from her home kingdom, and she's uncomfortable and she doesn't know how to deal. So there's a vibe that we have to deal with collectively and individually, starting on her movement into the sign on November 6th, 7th, time zone dependent, but mostly on the 6th, into the sign of Scorpio. She'll be there till December 1st. So we've all been sort of enjoying her Libra journey for the 3 weeks before November 6th, and probably feeling a little bit lighthearted and more at ease with our personal relationships and in the world. The tenuous peace treaty that was trying to be created by the 21-point plan and Trump and all of that thing like is holding on by, its fingernails to being a real actual peace plan. And so we probably will see that unfold as a turning the spigot off. So while Venus was in Libra, that peace plan was announced and tried to be carried forth. And bottom line, we're going to see Venus November the 7th plunge into the waters of Scorpio and perhaps feel very slimy and muddy for her, like she's trying to swim through a bog or a swamp. And then things to do with peace can become bogged down or swampy. Alrighty. Now, if there's going to be any whistleblowing, well, Venus is in Scorpio, it will be whistleblowing about or secret revealing of sordid stories about romance, sex scandals, love, seedy love stories, like a divorce. Like, Nicole Kidman is in divorce with her Keith Urban country singer husband. And if we're going to be mudslinging and love stories, we'll see mudslinging when Venus is in muddy Scorpio. So that mudslinging, and also could be for scandals to do with inappropriate sexual conduct. And we'll see that maybe opening up as disclosures as well, especially because Mercury, although he leaves for Sagittarius, must go back on November 19th through retrogradation to Scorpio, meaning that November 19th, already all the way to December 1st, look for like the dossier that keeps on giving, the Epstein files, maybe coming up with something new, or perhaps something to do with, as I said, mudslinging and love stories. And of course, disclosures around impediments to peace, right? Whistleblowers about why peace isn't working in any kind of peace deal in the world that's trying to be crafted. And so, because Mercury on December the 19th to the end of the month, with Venus also in Scorpio co-present, will mean those kinds of narratives will be coming to light. All right. We'll be seeing them. And we have the sun in Sag till November 22nd, sort of like a flashlight, giving it a kind of November 19th to the 22nd, particularly intense window. I'm going to repeat that, November the 19th to the 22nd, for disclosures of hidden variables that have compromised peace or have to do with relations between couples or to do with sexual stories, if not sexual scandal stories as well. And also that would include the Epstein files. One of the other things I want to note is that Uranus will enter Taurus through retrogradation, of course, on November the 7th. And that is going to be the last time we're going to see that in the rest of our lives. It goes back to the 1930s, early 40s. And, he's back there. He'll be in retrogradation in the sign of Taurus through till next year, until about the 26th of April or so. And this is going to take us back to a grand finale on things that we needed to accomplish or desired to experience as individuals in the collective regarding Taurus fixed earth energy and the sky god of lightning, shock, and awe disruption, shaking up that territory that can put us in harm's way for a major earthquake. And we begin to see the potential for that earthquake opening up as he goes retrograde at the time of November the 7th. This also connects to, historically, major changes in farming, but on innovations in farming, but also in the 30s droughts, the farming droughts, and we may see disruption in agricultural supply or things to do with cows, problems with animals that are cows, right? The bull. And the bull represents the stock market, right? And as the bull markets and the symbol of the bull in the New York Stock Exchange. So as we see Uranus going retrograde on November 7th, and we know he's there till next year. Okay. So he's all the way through to the spring. There can be a pullback in the stock markets. He's going to get really close to the star Algol, which is a very difficult star to do with decapitation energies. And it's ironic that the sun of the New York Stock Exchange is sitting on Algol. You can't make that up. But Algol is getting closely approached later on in the new year, as Uranus retrograde will get very close to that star. And that star will activate also Donald Trump's midheaven. But these stories aren't necessarily for November. They're more coming through early in the next year, or late December into early next year. In your own life since 2018, you've been working on getting original, inventive, breaking free and breaking through, coloring outside the lines, busting out of your own straitjacket in your Taurus whole sign house since 2018 May. When the first ingress of Uranus happened in the sign. And this will end next spring, next April, and you will no longer deal with that. That will be the new story of Uranus and Gemini. Uranus and Gemini has corresponded to wars the United States gets involved with every single time. The Civil War, in particular. So we'll see United States more likely to involved in overt war, if at all, starting next spring, as there will be 7 years of Uranus moving through the sign of Gemini. Now, there is a bit of a Uranus story going on all month long. We keep feeling that Uranus wants to deliver some shock or surprise or unexpected development. That's his job. He's the guy who, he's like the lightning, or he's at the tower in the tarot. He can disrupt. He can disrupt anything. He can, like, cyber attacks, disruptions in air travel. He's also very much about earthquakes as well. And Mars is going to, Uranus is not yet in Taurus, right? Not yet there. Right, just before that, November 6th, 4th, 5th, and 6th. At this point, Uranus is at the very end of the sign of first degree of Gemini, or at the very 00 Gemini. Mars will go opposite that, and that can be something to do with aggression, devices in the air that fly and cause damage, that are larger than a BULLET. So you know what I mean, right? Flying through the air, kinetic devices of great magnitude and power, like an arrow, opposite, or the flight industry or airline industry, and opposite the shock and awe of Uranus and Gemini, which is technology and communication. So cyber attack, yeah, sure, 4 to 6 of November. But it could also be Gemini represents the open enemies of the USA in the Sibley chart, and Mars is in the sign of the USA. So Mars is lobbing some, or responding to some kind of attack from an open enemy, for example, or an ally, by the way. So we shall see. Venus will move into Scorpio, as I said, way back up there on November 6th. And then as soon as she does that, she squares Pluto and Aquarius, the power of love, the love of power, tension and power, control, struggle, energy. Pluto and Aquarius can be about dominating control around groups of people or over groups of people, or people fighting for control from those who dominate against them, and particularly with Pluto out of bounds in the South Declination. And in the next decade, we're going to have more people rising up and overthrowing autocratic, dictatorial, tyrannical, and technocratic power structures and reclaiming people power. Well, with Venus and Scorpio, though, and Pluto being secrets that are cloaked from our view, hidden variables, we could definitely see reveals around scandals to do with sexuality issues, or with Scorpio to do with war, especially stealth war and 3-letter agencies. Venus will try her best as a good girl in a bad place to do her best. She's trying to lap swim in the mud, but she'll try her best to bring something to light. Venus and Scorpio can represent a particular woman who wants to stand up for something and push for something to uncover something that's hidden. I speak, I'm recording this when Tulsi Gabbard has gotten, into the news cycle because her agency and one of her downline people, a counterterrorism guy, could not get the FBI information. And there's a big tussle about whether or not counterintelligence should have any data about the situation and the death of Charlie Kirk. And Venus and Scorpio here would be very tall. She's an Aries, but very tall Aries sun. But it's a very Tulsi Gabbard move if she's going to push against the narrative and try to square away the truth. We'll see what happens November 7th to the 9th. Jupiter will turn retrograde on November the 11th. And on November 11th, happy Remembrance Day in Canada. I think it's the same in the United States. I'm not sure. We do. I think it's just Canada. Maybe we have a Remembrance Day for the fallen soldiers of the World War I and II. Jupiter will turn retrograde. And he'll be retrograde for several months until March 11th next year. And all this means that he's turning inward, and he's still a good guy, and he's still in Cancer. But because Cancer is a sign of the United States and it's where he's exalted, any strong Cancer individuals, Elon Musk is a Cancer rising, or any strong Cancer nations, the United States is a Cancer sun, will experience a regression, a turning inward, or a backtracking of some sort. Okay, now the sun of the United States in Cancer represents its leadership. There may be some change or a regression regarding the leadership of the United States. Now, that can be things to do with it usually means the king, all right? So the king of the United States would be Donald Trump. So possibly a Jupiter retrograde in Cancer, possibly, right? Not saying it's for sure, right? But it could turn backwards and cause some difficulties for his health. And that may be what I'm seeing, and maybe J.D. Vance stepping in for a short time or a longer time. But this is the beginning of that potential on November the 11th through till next March. And so that's one way it could play out. And Cancer is also the 10th house of the nation of eye in the Middle East. I'm trying to find a good code for that. And that represents the house of its leadership. And there could be a turning down away, a backtracking of power from those in leadership positions in that particular country. Think hornet's nest, and you might get the gist. Mercury stations retrograde on November 10th at 6 degrees of Sagittarius. This is Mercury close to the Earth, between the Earth and the Sun. You like Mercury between the Earth and the Sun, and we all do. Why? Because he's more magical, enchanted, magician-like, and synchronicity prone, and he's more effectively bringing us what we need. I know you think you shouldn't travel. That's not true. Travel to a place you've been before is just fine. I'm going back to Mexico, been there many times during the retrograde. So it's not like you shouldn't travel. Okay, it's much more subtle than that. Mercury station retrograde November 10th at 6 Sagittarius, and by November 19th, he will trundle backwards through the early degrees of Sag and move into Scorpio again, as I mentioned. So I've already talked about that, and he'll be in Scorpio all the way through until December 12th. So we'll go back to more whistleblowing, basically. The thing I want to say about this time, the retrograde, is it's in Scorpio. It starts in Sag and it moves into Scorpio, and that's going to mean something. It's got two signs of your chart and the world's chart embedded in the narrative, right? So Sag rising, United States, Scorpio, secrets the United States holds, backroom deals and negotiations, for example, right? Netanyahu, Scorpio, Sag rising, it impacts him, backtracking into his house of jails, isolation, and, whatever, difficulties connected to secrets. And Joe Biden is a Sagittarius rising. I fully expect a health challenge for him based on a Taurus moon coming up, and on November 5th. See that Taurus moon, it definitely impacts the health of King Charles, Joe Biden, for example. And also the retrograde does a similar thing. So we'll see those people in our news cycle. This is the world astrology. We will get to you. As a result of not just the Mercury retrograde, but Mercury going from Sag to Scorpio, impacting people who are Sag risings in unwell ways. Health challenges are potential, as I said. Secrets revealed about those people. Dungeons and jails are in isolation. Those are things that could occur for Netanyahu, Joe Biden. For him, it would be health, hospitalization, maybe end-of-life stuff. And that's true off the Taurus moon for Joe Biden and or King Charles as well, off that Taurus moon on November the 5th, which is full, right? And taking cue from the new moon back in late April. Now, I did cover this in another video, but, just recently, but, when Biden and his cognitive health was in question, for example, and he did the June of 24 bad debate, that was coming off of a cycle connected to this Taurus moon that had been activated back in maybe May of that year. So we can see that, again, stories about Joe Biden will prevail off not just the Taurus moon, but also the retrogradation of Mercury. All right. And I also want to say that anybody in Sagittarius, first 6 degrees, you got a lot of back and forth with Mercury. You're going through a lot of changing your mind, changing your position on things over the next, 2 months. So be aware of that. Nothing you think you want or know you're going to do. And unfortunately, that includes people who are Sag risings, right, are going to hold. There's a lot of flip-flopping going on. Sun will be in Scorpio, trining Jupiter in Cancer, November 15th, 17th, beautiful energy, right? And Mercury conjuncts Mars, November 11th and 13th. I would say that Mercury-Mars conjunction is obviously disclosures or information or news to do with Sagittarius, things that fly through the air, flights, international themes, sometimes justice, and news or information, disclosures, or something along those lines. Sun is good here. Sun is trining Jupiter, and that's really positive energy for the world in some area of reality. Any high-profile Scorpios like Vladimir Putin, Scorpio rising, King Charles, Scorpio sun, Biden, Scorpio sun, and if you think of any other Scorpios, let me know. big energies here for those people. Okay. And a positive trine to Cancer, exalted, some good news, good information, good developments could be underway here. Mercury is retrograding in Sag, sextiling Pluto and Aquarius around November 17th. And this is a positive energy about hidden things being revealed. This is like someone's investigating, sleuthing, digging, finding answers on something hidden. But again, we're in fiery Sag, and we have to look at Sag energy. It's not the same as Scorpio. It won't be Epstein files. It'll be something else. Sag is one of the war signs, right? Most often not understood as such, but it is. And so we have a war star in Sagittarius, if you didn't know that, right? So Antares. So we could definitely see some revelations around hidden motives regarding war and war matters around November 17th. Mercury will retrograde, still trining Neptune in Aries on November the 19th. Again, Aries is a war sign. Sag is a war sign. We may see information, positive developments, some dreams and hopes coming true, but Neptune is the obfuscator, the hider, and the spin cycle, and the, what do you call it, like the psyops guy. In Aries, the sign of war, and Mercury is retrograde, but he's trying to reveal something from the past. And maybe he's going to pull back the roll back the fog to help us see through information what's really going on in any kind of situation that involves conflict or war. Aries is the house of open enemies for the nation of Ai, the hornet's nest in the Middle East. And so that can also involve other nations that they consider their enemies, revealing information about the nation of Ai. And we'll see Mercury cazimi the sun on November 20th. We're going to do the all signs portion of this video today about your cazimi and what to do with that powerful divine download from Mercury. I have a free webinar on the Mercury cazimi, limited spots available in the description box below. Come sign up for that. I'd love to have you. Sun enters Sagittarius November 22. Now we've got the sun in the sign of flight, flying projectiles, kinetic devices that could move through the air and cause harm. Sagittarius is also going to be about our flight industry as well, potentially now highlighting matters of international travel and sometimes justice, because it's a natural ruler of the 9th house. And then on the 21st to the 30th, the sun will trine Neptune, and then it will move the next day into the next position. So it goes Scorpio November 20th, and that's trining Neptune. So positive developments regarding leadership and Scorpio leadership, Putin, and the realization of a dream come true. Maybe finally gets the land he wants in the Middle East. In Ukraine. And then sun opposite Uranus. Sun opposite Uranus on the 22nd, because the sun now moves into Sag and it gets directly opposite Uranus. Kaboom! Shock and awe. It's still in opposition, so it's not going to feel like a picnic. Sun is in Sag. Who are Sag people in the world story, or nations that might be on the docket? United States is a Sag rising, right? For example, Netanyahu's a Sagittarius rising, for example. Biden is a Sag rising, for example. Shock, surprise, unexpected developments. In the comments below, please give me some more Sag famous people or Sagittarius energies that I might not be covering here. Uranus and the sun. Okay. And then Uranus is in the house of open enemies to the United States. So a blow up with somebody the United States does not consider a friend. So an adversary, a nation that's an adversary, and a shocking development. Mercury will conjunct Venus while Jupiter trines Saturn on November 25th. This is a very beautiful grand water trine that's forming in the sky. Mercury and Venus together, news about Venusian things, right? Whatever you want, take your pick. Oh, wait, where's Mercury? Has he moved back? Oh my God, my brain. Where are these guys? I'm not looking at the chart. I'm just looking at that. Requires memory. Yeah, so Mercury's now in Sag, of course. Mercury's in Sag, and Venus is brain. Oh yeah, they're conjunct in Sagittarius. Okay, so Mercury and Venus co-join in Sagittarius. They become one. Look for news stories, okay, about women with strong Sagittarius profiles in our collective stories, okay? But that's basically what that is. Oh my goodness gracious. Well, Jupiter is trining Saturn. Okay, so Jupiter and Saturn have been trining all month long, right? But they're moving into a nice, really tighter trine. I guess that's what I was trying to write there. I'm not sure why I wrote it that way. Let me take a look at my original notes. Yeah, it's just a big water trine that's forming, but I'm not sure why I put it the way I did. Now I'm having What am I looking at here? Oh, Venus is in Scorpio, right? Yes, Venus is in Scorpio. I'm so sorry, guys. Of course, Venus is in Scorpio. I apologize. She moved back into, oh my God. She's in Scorpio, November 7th to December 1st, November 7th to December 1st. Venus is in Scorpio. Venus is in Scorpio. Mercury's retrograded back there to meet her. They're both trining Saturn and they're both trining, no, sorry, they're both, they're both trining Jupiter in Cancer. So that's what I'm seeing. I forgot about that. I forgot that Mercury's back there with her in Scorpio. So that's interesting. Venus and Scorpio, Mercury and Scorpio connecting together, and then they're flowing to Jupiter. And, you know, there's a vibe. There's just a vibe. And possibly what we could say about it is something like, forget the Saturn piece. The trine to Jupiter could look like, because it's exalted Jupiter in Cancer, although he is retrograde. Exalted Jupiter in Cancer, Mercury, Venus, and Scorpio. Venus is debilitated. Jupiter wants justice under all costs. Well, if we're going to get justice about hidden variables connected to Scorpio themes, a woman might be at the helm of that. The only woman right now screaming for justice in a world event is Candace Owens. So maybe Candace Owens has a breakthrough moment here of some disclosure or new information from her investigation, right? She calls herself the CIA, Candace Intelligence Agency. That would be a type of thing to happen. Venus is in Scorpio. She'll be opposite Uranus November 29th, 30th. Again, a shock, a surprise, connected to a female energy, connected to investigations. Candace Owen, Tulsi Gabbard fit the mark under the archetypal energy that we're seeing here. So I hope I don't have any mistakes in this little thing I drew up for you. I don't think I do. I just have mistakes in my brain. Shock and awe, Venus is Scorpio, sex scandals as well. So we talked about that with the Pluto square on November 7th and 9th. I'm bringing back up more of that disclosure on the 29th and 30th. And again, the Candace Owen and Tulsi Gabbard types could be very much in the news cycle at that time, as well as any celebrities, female, who have strong Scorpio placements. And if you know any of those people, put them in the description box. I have no idea what search name's chart Nicole Kidman's chart is, but who knows? Maybe she's got a strong Scorpio placement. And I just know that all divorces get messy in the public eye eventually. All right, so that's what we got. November, new moon, Scorpio, 28 degrees on the 19th. Well, we're not going to cover that here. I put new moon videos out all of the time. There's my world astrology. I came back to it to give it an experiment. I've been off of world astrology for 7 weeks. If you like world astrology at the front end of the all signs or the monthly overview, and it's your cup of tea, please let me know by telling me in the comments that it's something you want. And if you want it, would you share it with friends and family, hit the like button, subscribe, and all of those things that help the channel grow. October was a really bad month for my channel. I don't know why. Numbers were down across the board. I'm not the only one having some problems in the month of October. Other astrologers I know have been saying something similar. So please give me a boost by doing all the good things. It's like a tip jar. That like button is my, a 25-cent tip. Subscribing is $1 tip. And then sharing with friends and family on top of that, you just tip me $10 archetypally. So thank you. Let's go ahead and talk about what are you going to do when you get Mercury, the divine messenger, hooked up to the sun on November 20th. This is the archetype of magic, synchronicity, and mystery. Magician, and a portal opens. The portal opens up to some information, some email, phone call, text, some conversation, some dream at night, some big synchronicity overwhelm that discloses something to you that you need to know that wasn't visible until Mercury entered the sun's heart. The sun is our divine intelligence. It's like Maxwell Smart getting, is picking up a shoe and talking into it. I don't have a shoe for a prop to get messages from headquarters. It's like Mission Impossible, getting the mission in the telephone booth or whatever. That's the vibe. So what you're going to do with that, I'm going to delineate broadly. If you want to come to my free webinar, then I've got a deeper dive into the minor asteroids involved. We're going to do a guided meditation, and there's going to be a deeper covering of the meaning of the Scorpio type of energy relative to historical placements of Mercury moving through Scorpio 7 years ago. This is a year, guys, coming up in 26, where Mercury will spend 6 of 12 months in the water signs. And you want to understand how that's going to impact you, especially if you're a water sign. Please come to my Mercury webinar. Okay, we're going to start with Aries and we're going to roll. But first, I'm going to go and get a tea so that my voice holds in there. And we're going to be drawing from this particular deck. This is called the Urban Crow Oracle. And we're going to draw from this deck today an adjunct information, add information to the actual meaning of this cazimi for you. And the reason why I do this is because crows are messengers. They really are. And Mercury is a messenger. Have you not always found that crows are like synchronistic messengers for you? They are for me. So we're going to get a quick draw card for you, a keyword. We're going to go with the keyword. I don't think I'm going to read the deck, but don't forget, come to the webinar, come to this, learn about this cazimi, learn how to do a meditation with me to harness the most intense and most beautiful part of what you can get from it. And people love those guided meditations because they're very self-revealing. I have a particular format. So come check it out. Oh my God, I forgot to put mascara on today. That's how whatever I am. I'm kind of out of it. Okay, so moving into the Aries story, first of all, of course, hopefully that will be easy to do. Let me make sure that it's up for you, that I can see it on my desktop before I try to get you over there. And to get you over there now. All right. Let's share the screen. Let's grab the astrology. Let's make it big so you don't have to look at my desktop. All right, so here we have it. This happens to be for Aries. We're starting with you, sun, moon, and rising. Your rising sign is your simulation avatar. It's a character in the game of life. Your sun is your true self. It can relate to career and purpose matters. It's kind of like the actor who plays the role. And then, of course, the moon is your home and domicile and how you feel and think about your life. You can listen for all three. All right, so don't forget, try them all out. Over time, you'll see what's resonating. All right, Aries, sun, moon, and rising sign. Liking the sky for us because the cazimi on November the 20th is going to happen at 28 degrees of the sign of Scorpio. And this is going to open up a wedge in our chart. The wedge means that something is trying to happen here in our 12th house vis-a-vis the 8th and the 2nd. Now, the 2nd house is your earnings, your financial resources, the money you make, what you possess. It's your speech. It's matters connected to the throat and face, energetically speaking. But also, we notice with Uranus here, and you have to go back to 2018, some rags to riches, riches to rags, erratic income, or making money in exciting new ways, including digital and online monies. And that was true for me as an Aries sun. But there's been ups and downs. It's been not steady. It's been all over the map. And so unpredictable income. Now, this energy is also getting pretty close to the Algol well star. Not quite there yet, but it's beaming that way. So there could be some surprise about money that's going to show up for you as a new disclosure or information on November 20th. And it could connect with Venus, the money goddess in the 8th house, definitely something to do with chunky money, some kind of thing to do with a insurance payout, an inheritance payout, a tax rebate, a stock investment taking off, who knows? Interestingly, with Scorpio out of dignity, I'd say there's money at a cost. There's some kind of money coming to you under a circumstance that may not be ideal. And with Saturn, like the elder in the house of hospitals, and the sun in the house of inheritances, or maybe an elder or a former spouse or a current spouse, and money coming to you in an unexpected, surprising way. And I just say former spouse because of the retrograde Mercury with Venus, Lord of your 7th. So, say like an ex-husband or wife, they're passing away, and I hate to say that, but they put you in the will and you're like, what? I thought he didn't like me. I thought we were done, or she didn't like me. But you're going to be surprised. It's a money surprise. And the connection to the 12th house brings us to places of isolation, like hospitals or prisons. Possibly another element would be an unexpected jolt of financial positivity, most likely positive information, right? News or information. That's what Mercury's delivering, information, as he's cazimi in opposite Uranus. And it may open up something to do with digital income and borderless revenue, or a new opportunity for money coming from a foreign place or a distant shore. There's a final thing. There's an enlightenment vibe. Mercury's in the house of moksha, liberation from the matrix, to let go of your egoic identity. And from the 12th house, you're having the full liberation, the Buddhahood, and it's destined and fated, and you're dissolving all realities. That's Saturn and Neptune. So for some of you on the spiritual awakening journey, this could be a really big information download or a blowout. Certainly pay attention to your dreams at night. All right, that's going to be key as well with Mercury in one of those sort of hidden houses. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at a card just for you. We're going to keep it simple. I'm not going to read about how crow behavior delineates this card. You'll get a keyword. I don't want to make this a super long video that's coming out on Sunday, recorded for my Patreon community, early access ad free on October 30th. You guys always ask me how you can get a reading with me. You can't, but if you want to have any chance of getting a reading with me, which are now very limited, they're exclusively offered to my Patreon community first. Therefore, the general public does not ever see my booking calendar open up. So it's best I can do. Okay, guys. I'm trying to give people a incentive, all right, to come to my Patreon. Dominance. Oh my God. The crows are dominating. Oh my God. Now I'm going to have to read it because I'm like, why would you have dominance? Oh my God. Number 16, relative to the cazimi in the eighth house. Like, okay, dominance. Dominate, baby. Houses 2, 8, and 12. Number 16. Pecking orders. If you felt restricted by someone or a stressful situation is impacting your thoughts and decisions, that's like something's dominating you. Someone or someone might be flexing their muscle. This card can represent a boss who can make you work overtime, a partner who always picks the restaurant, or a friend who always has to win. It can indicate your need to be in control. On a positive note, dominance may indicate your power over something and your ability to control a situation. I would say that it would be you being able to be empowered financially and not to be dominated by financial concerns, because this is on an axis of money. Okay. So how have you felt dominated by financial matters and concerns, and how can you be undominated by it? Okay. Because something wants to come through Mercury to give you the news or information to change that in your life at this time. And our next sign will be our lovely Taurus sun, moon, and rising people. Oops, I'm going by day, not by day. On November 20th, we're going to have cazimi, Mercury, in the heart of the sun in Scorpio. And this hasn't been a thing, for about 7, 8 years. So this is exciting. Oh, it's pinned to Aries. I think that's what's going on. Yeah. Ah. Whole sign. All right. Calculate. So Taurus, sun, moon, and rising. Your 7th house of marriage hasn't had a cazimi here, right? For about 7 or 8 years. We'll be doing more on the deep dive on these cycles on my webinar that's free. Consider signing up. And if you want to consider that the 7th house isn't really always about you, then you might think about this as something going on in the life of your business partner, a particular audience, client, marketplace type person that you must address, or potentially with this energy, your significant long-term love partner. There's something that wants to be spoken or revealed about them or by them. And so this might be information or news that they're offering to you in a conversation directly. You might be surprised. Look at Uranus, is there right with you in your 1st house. For sun, it could be moon or rising. It could be very much someone else is delivering information to you that's important to you, a person who's important to you. And this information or surprise, what the hell is that sound? Is unexpected, okay? On the other hand, with this wedge that forms up here to the north node, some of this could also pull in a sibling 3 older, a sibling 1 older into the surprising information mix. It could also pull in some information with or about a friend, ally, or benefactor, somebody like who's in your social circles, who's attempting to be supportive or helpful to you. And you might find yourself in a bit of a surprise there as well. The information, however, is coming off the 7th house, and it definitely looks like someone else is giving you some info that does surprise you. Now, your significant other could get a windfall, a sudden amount of money. If you have a significant other, a greater career gain coming to them, and the information is just there's a surprise. You didn't see it coming. If there's any way in which you as a Taurus are, especially the 25 to 29 degree Taurus sun, moon, and rising, especially rising, if you're in a relationship and there's a feeling that there's information you need to have about your partner, there's a secret and you haven't gotten you suspect a secret, your partner has a secret, and Venus is in condition of exile, in detriment. next to the partner. Unfortunately, for some Tauruses, you may be getting information from your partner about something that's not is shocking, but not always positive, but it all somehow works out in the wash with a trine from Saturn, Neptune. But if there was any kind of like, oh, honey, I forgot to tell you, I, was making out with this girl at the bar, and yeah, I had one drink too many, and I'm so ashamed of myself. Will you forgive me? Conversations about relationship infidelities or something like that might be happening. You might be surprised, but I think it's going to work out. If something happened, I don't think it's that bad. But otherwise, your partner may be revealing something in their life, is completely separate from you. Mercury's retrograde, and there's somebody you were in a relationship in the past with, and you haven't heard from that person for a while. There might simply just be some surprising, unexpected information, like phone call, text, or email coming from a former committed love or significant love person in your life. It doesn't have to be you're married, right? But they took up a lot of space. Right? They took up a lot of room in your life somehow. Usually you're going to be living together for seventh house type relationships, but not always. Some people are together for a long time. They don't ever cohabitate, and it doesn't mean it's not an important relationship. What do the pros have to say for you guys? Come on, let's go through this together. Insight. Well, the crow's trying to get something out of a jar, and the word is insight. You may have insight into your marriage partner. Your partner may get some insight into you. You may have insight about a past relationship that you never truly understood, a past marriage, a past long-term love. There's definitely insight when Mercury's in the heart of the sun. And with Venus there, it's definitely usually about love. And if you had any business dealings that went south, because Venus is connected to this cazimi, and she's in exile. So shady business dealings or business partner dealings that didn't go well, and you don't understand what happened, you might get the information or news or legal details even in the seventh house and give you insight into that situation, but it would definitely likely be from your past. Okay. Just like if your partner says, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I was less than perfectly faithful. It's an older story. It didn't just happen. It's connected to the past archetypally. Let us move on to the next story. Gemini. Am I actually sharing? Was I even sharing? Was I ever sharing? Is anyone else frustrated with my Zoom? I don't think I'm even sharing. All right. I think I am now. Yeah. Okay. Geminis, sun, moon, and rising. It's your Lord, Mercury. And 3 times a year, he will go into the heart of the sun from a retrogradation, which is more powerful than a direct conjunction. And here he's doing it in your 6th house of work, pets, rental property agreements, and health-related matters. If you've been trying to heal a health challenge connected to Scorpio themes, so particularly sexual themes, STDs or urogenital or whatever, then there could be information that is going to come to light, especially with Venus there, who was sperm and ovum, that is surprising but positive because it's flowing to Saturn to give you lasting healing results in something that may have been challenging you in your health from the past, like a turning point bit of information that now explains the whole thing, whether it's a blood test or an article you read or something like that. Now, the 6th house is also pets, and there may be surprising developments around a pet or a change of home with the South Node in your 4th house and an opportunity for a new place. Now, in this kind of chart, it could be a purchase of a home or it could be a rental. I'm not going to just tell you all the reasons why, but it works for both ways here. And you might also have some new developments in your work. Now, Mercury here, it's in the house of employees, and there might be some information or news coming from an employee, if you have them, that's going to be very positive for your worldly success and career expansion. But at the same time, the Uranus brings a surprise because maybe you didn't see it coming because it was offside, like, on your peripheral vision. If it involves income derived from far off lands and digital places, this is positive. And there's something about an escalation of money, increase of your career. I just have another ladybug. It's my 2nd ladybug in 2 days. And I have a progressed Gemini sun. You cannot, and this baby is a huge ladybug. She's amazeballs. I try to take a picture of her, but my camera's not focusing. Holy baby ladybug. Thank you, Mary Magdalene. Are you amazing? You could have like a jolt, a Uranian jolt here regarding not a chunk of money. That's not really the right word, although there is possibility of a very sudden increase of money connected to something in your career and work, but it's going to come through information. Like it's not money in your pocket as much as it's information that opens a door to an unexpected way or unexpected avenue for increasing your financial and career success and work success, all of those things. Don't forget, there is a trine to the cazimi from Jupiter in your money earnings house, right? So there's a lot going on here at once. I can't wait to do this webinar. I'm going to draw a card for us because I'm my progressed Gemini sun. You could possess a pet under this as well. If you really wanted an animal, you could get some kind of information like your best friend's cat had kittens. The breeder that you were in touch with just calls you up to say someone canceled their order and you could get your pet after all. So there is that. You could have an unexpected surprise about a pet, but it's more likely the other things that I've said. I don't think you're going to have any major problems with a pet. I hope not anyway, because I just don't get that sense from that chart. A sacred space. Well, this is like a nest, right? And the crows feather the nest and put their eggs in there and tend the nest and do their sweet thing. I love crows and ravens. So potentially you are going to feather a nest, and with a south node in the fourth house. And as I said, the buy or purchase or rental energy is activated. It could be very literal that you might want to find a new nest. Now, if it's not that, then what part of your life is requiring that you get into the nesting mode? And the sixth house is your office. So maybe you want a new home office or you want to redecorate your office, nesting, but feathering the nest. And so I'm not going to read these because I'm just trying to make a simple correlation. But now that I'm tempted to just peek at how they're going to describe nest, I guess I'll look, but I'm not going to do it for everybody. And don't complain. You guys are, oh no, you did it for this sign, but not for me. How come? I guess I'm not going to do it because I thought it was alphabetical in here. I thought it was alphabetical. Now I've lost the card and I can't find it. So we're going to keep moving on. All right. And then we go right into you Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising people. Big, beautiful cazimi, not seen for 7-8 years, like 2019 kind of vibe. And you're going to see 18-19. You're going to see that this cazimi, heart of the sun, Mercury in your fifth house could bring some disclosures of information from a child or a romantic partner. Now, from a child, it could be many things. It could be because of Venus pregnancy. Your child is pregnant or their partner and someone's pregnant. It could also be, and maybe not happily because Venus is in exile and maybe it's not the ideal time for a baby. Or there's some information coming from one of your children about anything, money, their love life, their sexuality, their sexual preference. And there's a disclosure, there's information that comes at once that wasn't seen before. It is connected to the past. So maybe they had tried to have that conversation with you before and you weren't available for it because Uranus says there's a shock or a surprise. You may also have an unexpected windfall. Venus is in the house of good fortune, especially for winning money. Uranus is in the house of windfalls. If there is a windfall with a North Node, Saturn, Neptune in the house of Dharma, and all of that, and Jupiter in your sign, just count your blessings and say thank you. This is a lucky sky for you. Lucky 9, lucky 11, and lucky 5th houses are activated. Of course, if you wanted to have a baby and having a pregnancy is up your alley and that's something you're looking to create, this could be a very positive sky as well. But I could see as well grandchildren that are destined being announced or coming your way as well. Sorry about that siren. I hope it's not too bad for you guys. Wow, another 5-alarm blaze. As we get closer to that full moon, November 5th, I'm not kidding you. There are more and more sirens around my place. I should have closed the window all the way. It would have helped. Oh, well. And romance. Well, are you a single Cancer? And there's a message coming from the past connected to romantic love and the sun. Well, particularly possible here that a partner connected to love and romance, somebody connected maybe to foreign lands and foreign shores from your past, reaches out, typical Mercury retrograde anyway. This can be a long-term love, like a marriage partner, thanks to Saturn's involvement, or it can be somebody that you're just, dated for a while, and out of the woodwork, this person comes back to you and wants to reminisce or talk, or they might disclose information about, details of how they felt or the romantic inclination, almost like closing up loose ends in some way. Sometimes when this happens, people get back together, because you hear from someone that you were with and now you're ready to go for another round together. And that's something that could happen as well. If you do hear from somebody from your past in a romantic or long-term relationship capacity, do not be surprised. And a leisure travel opportunity may emerge out of the blue, particularly involving siblings. Okay, chance to travel connected to siblings. Let's see what the crows have to say for Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. And if you are Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising with Jupiter in your sign, you do not complain about anything, please. Till next July, exalted Jupiter is going to luck you up. 21 gifts. Yes, don't complain. The universe is giving you gifts. It's just obvious. And you have such a lucky sky. Now, crows must bring people gifts. Now I'm really curious about that card. Do they bring people gifts? Yeah. Crows express gratitude and appreciation when they feel a connection with a human. And they do bring gifts. They'll they can leave a foreign object on your balcony. She's talking about a crow, like leaving a bright green cap, and another time a long stick. Oh, that is so sweet. So the cards really want you to know that there's a gift coming your way and you need to be appreciative of it. And I love that for you so much, because ultimately all the luck houses are activated. 9, 11 windfalls and pennies from heaven, and 5 winning money, speculation, gambling, but they're just all lucky houses. And so there's something lucky trying to happen on the cazimi, and maybe it feels like a gift that you're pregnant, your child's pregnant, that you hear from this long-term past life, the love from another lifetime part of your life. So keep the idea gift in mind. That's your key word. And that's really positive for you guys. I'm liking that so very much. Leos, you got a sky. We all do. Mercury is going to disclose something on the day of the cazimi. It could be a day before and after, but it's going to be November 20th. He's in the heart of the sun. There's information coming that was hidden from view. It may connect you to mothers, people from your childhood. It could connect to childhood memories and events. It can connect to your home and homeland matters. And it connects maybe sometimes to people you live with in domicile, revealing something to you in a conversation. Hopefully if they live with you, they're not texting you, but it's still the idea that somebody in your home could have some information or news they're going to give you, and it's directly coming in your private life at home. With Uranus in the 10th house of career, there's something about the career that opens up here, maybe a surprise, maybe a development connected to home and career, or father figures. With the sun in the 4th house, your father figures in life, including your real father, may surprise you with something that you didn't see coming in a conversation or a revelation of some sort. Also note that with North Node, Saturn, Neptune in the house of inheritances, there's a possibility an elder in your family system may be getting ready to pass. And the energy of that is like, okay, I was surprised. I knew Grandpa Joe or whatever was, 99.9 years old, but I just thought he was going to go forever, so there may be that kind of thing going on for some of you. If you want to change your home, and some of you may, Saturn rules your house of rentals. This could be getting the rental contract, hearing about a new place to rent or live or move, and just getting your fingers on that, oh my God, I can possibly move. That's really cool. New opportunities can open up there as well. Now, Mars is the ruler of that 4th house, and he's in the 5th house of children. And just for you, I need to point this out. One of your children can also be delivering new news. And with the moon there, it could be about fertility and pregnancy. So there's a possibility that there's that story too. One of your kids is having a baby or going to have a baby, and you get news of it. Or one of your kids reveals some kind of thing that you didn't know about them. And it's like about their sexuality, their romantic life, their fertility. Hey, mom and dad, I'm really not straight or whatever. You're like, really? Something like that. Okay, so what else do we have? We're going to take a card for you and we're going to see what we get. when I said an elder and I said Grandpa Joe, well, I mean, if your parent is 99.9, years old, and we include parent, right? So an elder in the family looks very father figure with the sun in the Scorpio bottom of the sky. So what's your message on the crows who are always squawking and caulking and making noise and asking us to pay attention to their noise? Okay, perspective. Have a perspective on the situation. Well, I'm not going to go into reading that. But see how the crow's upside down? They turn upside down. They do. They do. To get any perspective on life. I think that if any of you have this experience where it's a passing of an elder in your family system, which is going to be true for some of you, or a change of home, which is going to be true for some of you, then you're going to find that the key piece is what perspective you take. And when the crow goes upside down, it clearly is seeing something from a completely different angle. Be willing to reframe the circumstances from a completely different angle. That's what I've got for you. You won't know what I'm talking about till the cazimi arrives a day or two before November 20th. You look for those stories to be activated. But I certainly would say pay attention and see what you want to do with the arising circumstances and the disclosure information news that's coming to you that was hidden from view. Okay. Because you can also, basically, I would say reframe it. Because if you're feeling like this, I still think it's good for you that what's happening, but say your favorite grandparent's passing away and you're going to be sad, but the reframe is, isn't it beautiful that they thought of you in their will? That kind of thing. Alrighty, or your child's pregnant and you didn't expect it and they didn't, reframe it. Isn't it beautiful? A child's coming to this world to be loved. Okay. Virgo, sun, moon, and rising. Mercury is the lord of your sign, as he is for Gemini. Mercury is in the heart of the sun on November 20th in the third house. I want you to think disclosures and information from a sibling, one younger, aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, and nephews, any kind of sibling, but particularly one younger. And with Jupiter in the house of the sibling, one older, I'm going to add that a sibling younger or older may be disclosing information that you weren't aware of and it's being revealed to you. Yes, around November the 20th. Okay. And it could connect to themes in their life of marriage or fertility and pregnancy. Now, the other element going on here would be travel. And there's a potential like information coming through, a bit of news that you're going to have an opportunity and you're surprised to travel. And if you get to travel somewhere, because it's a bit of a kite, as you can see, then you're going to be lifting high into the sky. And it could be domestic or international travel opportunities connected to siblings, or possibly under the sky connected in some way to educational opportunities as well. And you might notice that with this energy playing out very wedge-like here, a significant long-term relationship partner, and also an unexpected surprise opportunity in that relationship to journey or travel somewhere together, maybe for leisure or fun or pleasure, not a big deal, but the element of surprise or unexpected is here. I mean, Mercury would be booking the ticket or looking at the travel schedule. All of a sudden you've got information that you should get on a plane and go on a trip. It could be involving siblings or significant long-term relationship partner, and it's exciting. And with Mars in the fourth house, it indicates the potential for a time to travel abroad, and he's going to be in Sag for quite a while till mid-December. So this November 20th might be the opportunity emerging or the information coming to you about long distance travel. If any of you are in the publishing, social media, or academic environments in life, breakthroughs or sudden information coming through that's pretty positive for you and could increase your career gains because of that. Your ability to market, sell, increase your financial gain through social media, online world, teaching, writing, communicating, and publishing, and a bit of a bonus points on the game board for you. And what do the crows have to say? So I can see that my hand is up, but I'm always complaining about that to you guys. And you guys can't see that my hand is up. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. So I've been babbling on and on about my hand being up. Sorry about that. So it's another no turn off feature. Thank you, universe, for the thing, influence. Someone's going to influence you with information. Okay. That clear. Caw. The information is coming from siblings, cousins, aunts, and uncles, neighbors. Okay. And with a collateral energy to a spouse or a long-term love partner. And so there's some influences being information that's influential to you, that's going to influence your decisions connected to the themes I've outlined. Very likely the information is going to come through some of those types of people. But the third house is also just your social media landscape. So you might get some information in a social media landscape where it's a game-changing bit of information, right? You find out that there's a massive sale on tickets to Bermuda, after a hurricane, and you can get a price point that you never saw before. And then you find out, and be careful, that there's no buildings left or something. I should have said Jamaica, but I feel so sad about Jamaica. I'm recording on October 30th after the hurricane made landfall. And I did predict that actually a week and a half before it happened. Major hurricane would emerge based on the astrology on my Pluto Chronicles. All right, moving on to the sign Libra. And Venus is involved in this cazimi. She's witnessing it. She's your Lord and she's in detriment. This is a money house. There's information and news about possessions, earnings, money. And it may be difficult a little bit because of Venus out of dignity here, but also it could be surprising with Uranus in the chunky money house. So money narratives connected to inheritances, taxes, tax rebates, insurance payouts, sign-on bonus, severance packages, royalty money, anything that to do with financial things, that money you share with others or money that comes in a chunk instead of a paycheck. So there's a bit of a surprise on the financial axis, and it's connected to work because there is a wedge forming to the, Neptune Saturn North Node in the house of livelihood, work, and Jupiter's in the 10th house, making a big water trine story. So like a work disclosure, basically, information about money and work will be likely to show up for a lot of you Libras. Now, Jupiter's retrograde, so you've been having a lot of success in your work and career, but now he's pulling back and it's slowing down maybe. That's an example. And Saturn is the ruler of your 4th house. And so for just a few of you, there may be some surprising developments about money that connect to the possibility of a change of home. Changing your home in this kind of chart looks more like a rental opportunity. Now, the other thing I noticed is that because health is the 6th house and food style is the 2nd, there may be a kind of information about your dietary habits and the need for you to improve your health, but the information surprises you. You're like, I didn't know that legumes are bad for people with autoimmune disorders. That's a story. It is true, by the way. I can't eat legumes, and you shouldn't if you're autoimmune disorder. And that changes your dietary habits and improves your health over the long haul. That's a very clear possible story in this kind of a sky. A surprising opportunity to possess a new object that you really want, coming to you in an unexpected way. So it could be anything. You want a car? Well, suddenly there's an opportunity to buy or to possess a car. I mean, just making stuff up, but Mars is driving through the 3rd house. So possibly that's another story as well. Opportunity for a purchase, or someone gifts you a vehicle, something like that. So Libra, what do we have? What do we have? What do we have for you? Let's take a look. Territory. Mark your territory. Look at those crows. They're protective birds. You don't want to get in the way of their territory. In Vancouver, if you walk under a nest, they'll fly down and they'll give you a bonk on the head. They're always gentle. They never hurt you. I've never been hurt. But if you're too close to their nest because they put it on a low bit of ground, well, that's your problem. 49. Yeah, it's like what it sounds like. Now, the territory kind of makes some sense to me in your chart. As I said, there's a potential for some of you, not all of you, to be looking at a change of home through rental. What territory do you want to inhabit? But Mars is also moving through as the ruler of the cazimi, the house of the neighbors in the neighborhood, and there may be a new territory available to you. I don't think you're going to dive bomb people to protect your territory, but it's really about carving space out for yourself in a home that you're already in, or to carve out space in a new home. So there's something about where you want to be territorial, and there's some positive surprises here as well. I don't think it's career territoriality, but if you need to carve out career space with Jupiter up here and work, then you're carving out your niche in your work. What is your territory that belongs to you in the work you do? Am I actually sharing? See, I think I was. No, maybe I wasn't. No, I wasn't. I wasn't supposed to be. Moving on to the next sign. Thanks for your patience. Please hit the like button and subscribe. Don't forget about Otter Spirit Jewelry. These are the mini trios. I also have the bigger beads. I love their stuff. Check them out below. I'm only sharing out of the sheer joy of the jewelry, not out of a big money-making endeavor for me. And Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising sign. It's you having a very intense energy. You haven't had this like for about 7 years, right? I think it will go back for you to 2019. And what we've got going on here is Mercury's in the heart of the sun in your sign. So your Scorpio sun is career related matters, Scorpio moon, home related matters, Scorpio rising, any part of your life could be under renovation here through a new insight, divine download, or a new bit of information or an idea that comes to you around November 20th. Now, Venus is the exaltation ruler, of the fifth house, where you have like North Node, destiny. If you're an artist, a songwriter, a musician, a storyteller, a model, a glamour, a Hollywood type, these are Neptune stories, and Saturn is diligence and perseverance. You could have a beautiful kind of idea, insight, or download around the cazimi for like a new song. Venus rules music, and so does Neptune, for a new art project or something like that. And because Mars is the ruler of the cazimi, it could actually turn out to be lucrative and allow for you to create some financial gain from this creative or entrepreneurial or artistic new path or idea that could come to you on the 20th. And Jupiter is in the house of publications. And so any of you who are writers, especially with Saturn in the fifth ruling your writing house, you could have a divine download of a new idea for a book or an article or something at Substack even, but whatever it is, it could end up being profitable in unexpected ways. The surprise also could be how something that you're creating hits the marketplace and how your audience, fans, etc., are going, wow. So for some of you, maybe a bit of a viral creative product, something you created in the past. Mercury's retrograde, an idea you already had. Saturn's retrograde in the house of the muse. You put it out there and it was a sleeper, and all of a sudden people find it. So something you've already created, everybody's retrograde, artistically, creatively, or published, could suddenly have a revival. You know what I mean? Like, and all of a sudden it becomes extremely well known. In your long-term committed love relationships, if you have one, there may be some unexpected surprises. If you're single, you may have an unexpected new opportunity for romance that kind of blows your socks off because you never date this type of person, outside the box for you, not your type. Person could be older by 6 to 7 years, could be a soulmate, and could be destined. And this is the moment where you get that first knowing, like you bump into them at the store, the restaurant, the first date, the some communication from that person or you to that person, where you see this is a potential relationship. And you're getting that divine download to see if it is. A lot of retrogradation, again, a former long-term love or a romantic partnership from the past reemerges and puts you back in touch as well. Okay, what's the card for you guys? What sign was I on? Scorpio. And we're going to get this done sooner than later. These videos take a lot longer when I'm flipping back and forth between the cards. Please like, subscribe. If you like world astrology, would you let me know in the comments? It's risk. Where in your life do you need to take a risk, Scorpio? Now, you're not too bad at that. You're Mars ruled, but Venus is in her detriment, in her exile in your sign. I'd say take mostly a risk on love, but also a risk in creative art, entrepreneurial stuff. Those are good places to take risks. Saturn, Neptune, North Nodes in the house of good fortune, flowing to this cazimi, flowing to you, flowing to a beautiful alignment with Jupiter in the ninth house. Take a risk on your deepest meaning and purpose, creative and artistic things. Take a risk on a foreign trip, land. Take a risk on new love. Take a risk. Risks will reward you. And normally it's not that you're not a risk taker. You can be a great risk taker. But, there's something about, where you've been wounded before, where you don't trust love, you don't trust creative projects, you don't trust the whole process. Venus is in detriment in your sign. But I think by sort of taking that chance and not whatever information comes on November 20th or what news, to trust it and take a risk. And that's what I've got for you. And a lot of you is go on that first date. Someone's asked you out or you asked them out, and the risk could be asking them out, but take a risk in love, in money, in creativity. If you're a Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising, the cazimi is in your 12th house on November 20th. And it has to do with your inner life, your private time, your solitude, creative projects and things you do home alone or like in your downtime when no one's watching. And you might even have something connected to the past, connected to distant shores, far off lands, and people there, including love in a foreign land, love with a foreigner, and the past, right? Because of retrograde. And it does hook up to a possibility here of a surprise in the sixth house. Now, the sixth house is tricky. Jupiter could give you a chunk of money to pay down a debt, and it could come from an eldering male figure in your life, grandfather, elder father, etc. And so we're talking inheritance surprises. But Uranus here could also give you an unexpected rental opportunity, but in a distant shore or land. Uranus can also shock or surprise you by changing the nature of an existing relationship that has not moved to commitment. If you're dating somebody, then maybe there's going to be a very fast shift here. It could be moving in together. It could be breaking up. It could be a lot of different things. Things are moving swiftly with this, like shock and awe Uranus. Downside would be a health challenge for a pet that was unexpected. Okay. An unexpected rental opportunity, an unexpected property sale or purchase opportunity, and a very heavy karmic energy to all of it, like a destiny is playing out for you. If you're looking for enlightenment, look no further than this cazimi, major divine download, spiritual awakening, and new levels of spiritual attainment. Although I don't know we can attain anything spiritual. We can be it, but I don't think we can attain it. All right. Let's go. Let's see what we have. Ghosts. Well, whoa, ghosts. I'm going to tell a ghost story in the cazimi. Did I say I should have given you the intro? It was going to be a ghost story because it's Halloweeny. The ghosts. The fourth house are the ghosts of your childhood. The eighth house is the ghosts of secrets in your family and from your marriage partners. 12th house are the ghosts of past lives, and the whole energy, especially the eighth house of the dead, right? So if you're like looking for the Halloween spirit, it's going to be way down November 20th. You're going to feel like there's this sort of like echoes of the past, ghosts of the childhood stuff. But it could take it literally that you could, with Jupiter, have a ghost, a dearly departed somebody, November 20th, working behind the scenes, right, to give you the messages you need for the sky to unfold in the way it wants to. Whether it's a change of home, more money from an eldering relative, or whether it's time to move, whether it's time to have a new love story, take the next step because you've just been dating. The ghosts are supporting in that as well. I really do think that's possible under that kind of sky. Eighth house would be the dead who are interfering or supporting you in your life. And then we go on and we talk about you Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising. So interesting time. We all have to go back to 2019 for this kind of cazimi energy in Scorpio, and Mercury in the heart of the sun in 2000 in the 11th house, right? On the 20th, it says 21st on the map because I've been tracking this thing forward, but it's indeed on the 20th. There you go. Venus is co-present. She has to do with love. This is a house of a sibling one older. There may be some unexpected information, news, or phone calls or texts from a sibling one older. This also can activate a sibling 3 older and a sibling 1 younger. So if siblings are trying to break through here in some unexpected way. You might also have some kind of unexpected financial opportunity connected to your work. Look for your phone calls, text messages, and emails. And Mercury retrograde says from the past, from somebody who wants to support and help you financially, connected to matters of career gains and work gains, especially with Venus in the 10th house. Lord, she rules your career and reputation. She's in the 11th house. There may be a communication here with a significant relationship partner, especially if it's romantic or sexual, like it's got both romance and commitment vibes intertwined. And there may be some kind of phone call, text messages, or emails going around November the 20th. There's a possibility for travel that you didn't plan, unexpectedly arising through information coming your way that allows you to book a trip that will connect to travel and romance, travel and relationship partners from your past, committed and just dating, can come out of the woodwork here with some kind of communication that you weren't expecting. Mercury is the ruler of your dharmic 9th house, and there may be a need to really dive deeply into what you want, to be a long-range plan and dream that's in alignment with your purpose. Some of you may be having to really sit with that, and some information may show up from outside of yourself that gives you some directionality around purpose and meaning and dharmic path in life. And I think that's all I've got. Let me just sit for a sec because I'll be doing more of my webinar. Come join us. One of your children announces something to you around fertility and pregnancy that you didn't see coming. A little surprise there, possibly leading to a grandchild who's a soulmate coming into your world. And that's exciting if that's something you're looking forward to. If you are in a relationship trying to make a baby, it is possible that your significant other delivers the news that she is pregnant. Because I'm sorry, he's aren't pregnant. No, they're not. Yeah, me and J.K. Rowling. And the egg bearer, okay? If your partner is an egg bearer, ovum bearer, then there's a potential element of fertility for you. And I wonder if you're going to be pregnant together. And I don't even know distance. Is there a relationship you're in, or is there a distance between you and a significant relationship partner? Is there some distance geographically or emotionally between you and a dating or love partner? Is there something to do with Jupiter retrograde in the significant relationship house means a pullback in the relationship, a kind of inward pullback. So you might be, but it can also bring Jupiter retrograde and Uranus retrograde relationships from your past into the present. That's another option. But this is about distance. And some of you, because of the third house, will be trying to bridge a distance gap. And this may be an opportunity to travel, to see a former relationship partner, to get together with them, or to bring you closer to someone you've already gotten engaged into dating or seeing. So there's some distance gap. And, with the third house active, it really could invite, besides all the sibling stories, a travel opportunity to bridge a distance between you and some other in your life. And that can include the sibling story. Go to visit a sibling that you're distant from comes to visit you. This would be particularly for the sibling 3 older than you, which is where Jupiter sits in the chart. Oh, I'm going by the days. Goodness gracious. Sorry about that. Hours. And then I'm an Aquarius rising, just like you guys. And this is what we've got going. We've got, so certainly just like Capricorn, the Lord of our sign, Saturn's engaged in the process. So this is very protective for Capricorns and Aquarius, as it's good for us. So we get this like cazimi, heart of the sun, 10th house career story happening. A lot of people like me were born in a certain era, 60s, 70s, have Scorpio, Neptune up there, which adds more to the mix as well, more juice up there. But it's possible that you have Venus is like public appeal or popular appeal or good luck in your career, although she's debilitated. And Mercury's information or news, and the sun is just a spotlight. So there's a cazimi around the 20th with some kind of information connected to career and reputation that's coming through for you. And it could be disclosed by someone in authority, like a boss or a superior or higher up, or if you're like me, self-employed, just something about the career thing becomes quite evident. Mercury does rule the entrepreneurial 5th house, and there's like an insight, an understanding, but some information or news may allow you to see that. It impacts your finances connected to your work in a positive way. It's going to increase your ability to create more financial gains through the work career itself, and in a lasting, stable way that's also more of a dream come true. It also allows for a greater success in the work itself. Maybe you can hire more employees, or maybe you're going to find yourself in a bigger office, or maybe it's Jupiter in the 6th, or maybe you're going to find yourself expanding your business. And that energy is really lit up. And Venus rules your house of publications like Substack or podcasting. There may be some new developments there, like you get invited to somebody's podcast, Venus in Scorpio, where somebody a little bit scorpionic, right? Investigative, forensic, sleuthy, conspiracy oriented, or mystical and witchy. And you could just simply be looking at an unexpected invite to somebody's show or podcast if you're like me. Uranus is in the 4th house of home, property, and land, but he also represents digital stuff you do at home, including, websites. And there's this nice little, oh, I didn't see that coming. Jupiter adds to it and says unexpected rental opportunity that you weren't expecting, whether it's a chance to rent your property out or more likely to rent a property. I can't see that happening for me yet. I do like where I live, but you never know. Maybe I will find another place to rent. You could find yourself in the possession of a bit of a windfall under the sky, where Mars is sitting in the house of windfalls and Mercury rules the house of lottery wins. And there's no reason why you couldn't be claiming your lottery ticket either at this time. And the shock is that you won a lottery. Okay, so that's for you. Buy a ticket around the time of the 20th and see what happens. Let me know in the comments if it works. Health is improving. Jupiter trine the 2nd house by your new dietary habits and styles. And that's another, nice energy here as you have some breakthroughs, thanks to Uranus in both health and career. Now it got awfully warm in here. All of a sudden, I'm in a concrete building. I've got really nice windows with, I think, enough double painting. but I think I collect the heat from below me and all the other units. I'm on the 9th floor. And so every now, I don't even have the heat on. And I'm like, whoa, it's not me. I'm not having a hot flash. I promise you. Not that you care. Let's draw a card for us fellow Aquarians. Let's see what we have. And then we're going to move on to Pisces. And then I'm going to tell you a ghost story for the outro. And I don't think outros are always about ghost stories. You know, there are synchronicities and stuff like that. But I really want you to know a little bit about where I go in life, and we're just into the woo, woo, woo. Freedom. Something's going to bring you freedom on this cazimi. It could be freedom from too much work, freedom from dietary and health challenges, and including addictions, freedom from the house or place you live. It could be some monetary luck that brings you some freedom. And those are your keywords, and you need to read it. Look at just freedom is calling you. Think, oh my God, Lori said this cazimi can bring me some freedom. And when you get to that cazimi on November 20th, come back to this video, please. And don't forget to join my free webinar on the 19th of November, which I'll be conducting from Mexico, so that you can get more juice out of this story. It's free, so why not come? I promise you, I'm not going to like upsell you to something. And then we're going to go finally to Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising. So Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. It is your story to experience this cazimi, probably not since 2019, roughly 8 years ago. You haven't seen this cazimi. That would be 6 years ago, but you get the idea. You haven't seen this cazimi since about maybe 2019 in your 9th house of God. So what it's going to do is favor you, just like the Cancers. It flows to you in a water trine. And so it's going to bring you some degree of luck, success, maybe dharmic alignment, purpose, and meaning in your life. It's positive for travel opportunities connected to Venus themes, so love, money, all that. It will likely be an opportunity or news or information from a guide, mentor, teacher that you're surprised by, but it may involve travel. For Uranus and Venus and Mercury and the Sun are all in travel houses. Mercury rules your spousal house, and so maybe, or long-term committed love house. So travel connected to long-term love relationships, or as Jupiter says, romantic relationships, emerging unexpectedly around November the 20th. Wouldn't surprise me, but it might surprise you. Opportunities to succeed in ways you didn't expect on the online world through marketing, selling, websites, teaching, divining and scrying, and publishing. And breakthroughs there. If you're looking for a publishing deal because you have a book, this is great for you. An unexpected breakthrough could come. You are sober-minded, realistic, dissolving. You are like having this weird transit. If you're like 25 to 29 Pisces, you're probably getting enlightenment stuff going, because Neptune's dissolving and Saturn is the concrete structures. There's a cement dissolving. It's like when someone puts fillers in to dissolve your hyaluronic. They put that stuff in to dissolve your injectable fillers, right? Someone's dissolving something that you have, that you no longer need. So some of it's enlightenment-y, some of it's just dissolving structures in your identity that you no longer need, or structures in your career or your home life that you don't need, Sun and Moon. All said and done, though, the surprise is pointing definitely to some 9th house activity. So if you have a sibling 2 older, if you have a sibling 1 younger, these could be also elements of where the surprise energy comes from. There can be with Mercury kind of retrograde if you're going to travel. You've been there before. It's a distant shore, far off land, for example, or another country, but it's most likely a country you have been to before. Do you actually travel on the 20th? Maybe not. Maybe you get information coming to you that you realize you need to book a ticket. So it's that kind of thing. All right. How exciting is that for you? It could be unexpected information from a female teacher, guide, guru, professor, coming your way as well. Let's see what we get. Oh, and Mars is in the 10th house of reputation, and he rules the whole shemazel in your 9th house. It could possibly translate to a need to travel for a work opportunity of some sort as well, especially given the Sun rules the house of work and Mars rules the house of career. Mars rules us. So some of you, it's this unexpected work opportunity as well. And it may require travel, publishing, or something you need to create vis-a-vis websites and stuff like that. Now, let's draw a card for you, see what we got. Don't forget to keep track of this. Come to my webinar. This video will always be here, the World Astrology month ahead. And this is where, if you want to come back, around the 20th and give me feedback, I'd love to hear it. I really would. I'll have another cazimi video coming out closer to the cazimi. Actually, I will. But I think that this video is a good place for you to come back and tell me what you got, right? So you're one of the signs that's got the positive card gifts. You do have the lucky ninth house activated. And in that regard as well, it's a very fortunate part of the sky for you, Pisces. And then you have Jupiter in the house of good fortune. And so there's something about some good fortune opening up. It could be good fortune with your children, good fortune with love and romance, good fortune with travel, leisure travel, but it feels fortunate. Saturn involved rules your house of windfalls. Some of you could have some real gifts, like a monetary windfall coming through as a result of this as well. Okay. We're going to go ahead and we're going to talk, and the crow brings you the gift, right? Now, ghost stories. I love ghost stories. I have a lot of them. Okay. I have a lot of them. Now, I can talk to dead people, so I don't need to see a ghost. I talked to dead people in my 30s when I did psychic readings for about 7 years when I lived in the United States. And now I'm going to tell you a real, not a like I talk to dead people, but I'm going to tell you a story when my mom passed away. It's a great story. I have so many ghost stories. Which one should I tell you? I have 2 ghost stories about my dead parents, okay? Because it's Halloween when I'm recording, October 30th, so I'm in the mood, right? So my dad passed away from a sudden stroke on New Year's Eve. I think it was 1997. And then he was a big fan of Christmas. So Christmas had passed. My dad was like Mr. Santa Claus. He loved giving gifts. He loved buying the gifts for people, setting the stockings up. He was a Mr. Christmas, and it was one of his special things. He loved it. And my dad dies on New Year's Eve. And then a year later, of course, we're coming up to the next New Year. It's Christmas. It's my mother's first Christmas with my dad. They were married for hundreds of years, probably 40 something. And, I knew it was going to be a bad time for my mom. I mean, her partner for so many years was gone. It was her first Christmas. And I wouldn't be able to visit. I lived in the United States. I wouldn't be home for Christmas. I think my sisters both maybe still lived in my small town we grew up in. I think so, yeah. But I wouldn't be there. And one day I was in my office, and this is like literally 2 weeks before Christmas, and I could see a spirit in my peripheral vision. Now, that doesn't often happen because I can just tune in and I feel they're there, or I hear a whistling in my ear and I can talk to them. That wasn't that. It was literally, I could see I see spirits in my peripheral vision. That's how I know they're around. Right? I just had a ghost story recently where before bed, somebody was in my peripheral vision. The next day I was with somebody on the phone. It was his dead dad. And I had to download a bunch of information that this son needed to hear from his dad. So that was when this happens, they really want my attention when they're like giving me peripheral vision motion detectors. And so I tuned in my office in Annapolis, Maryland, and I had to go pick my son up from school at 3:00. And this might've been like 2 or 2:30. And I saw my dad, and he's there. I'm like, Dad, how you doing? Now, he'd come to visit me in many dreams after he died. He was very available in the afterlife for giving me lessons about dying and the soul after he died. Dad was very active, but this was different. He was urgently trying to get my attention a couple of weeks before Christmas. And I'm like, what do you want? And I couldn't really get a message from him, but then I was driving to pick up my son for school. And I knew my dad was in the car. He was in the passenger seat. I'm like, okay, Dad, I know you're still hanging here. What the heck is going on? And then I get this inner voice saying, turn off at the antique store. Now, I had to drive past this antique store every single time I went to pick up my kid. And I'm really? Antique store? Okay, I'm going to do the antique store. I'm going to go into that. I never go into that. I'm going to go into the antique store. As soon as I walk into the antique store, they have an opening porch or a vestibule that you can walk into. And they got a parking lot. It was easy to do. And I walk in, and sitting on the main display is a Santa Claus. The Coca-Cola Santa Claus is from the 1940s, 50s. My dad had one of those. It was his favorite thing to put the Coca-Cola Santa Claus on the mantle, in our house, with the stockings on the fireplace underneath. And I knew immediately that my dad had wanted me to purchase that for my mom, to say that he was there. He knows she's there. I'm going to cry. He's looking out for her. And so I bought it for $40, a Coca-Cola vintage Santa Claus from like a 40s or 50s. And it was bigger than my dad's. My dad had a smaller one. This one was twice the size. So I boxed it up, mailed it to my mother, and I made a note. And I said, Dear Jerry, because her name was Geraldine. And my dad called her Jerry. And this is George. I got Lori to buy this for you. And I hope you really enjoy it. Just for, good times, from memories of our good times behind us anyway. So of course that was pretty cool, right? My mom was blown away when she got the Santa Claus, but she knows my mother was psychic too. And she knows that really was from my dad. I'm going to do another ghost story in my next video. I'm going to keep it at that because I have so many of them. I'm going to not bundle them all together. I'll tell you about the ghost story of my mom. I've told it once before, but I haven't told this story before. And we're coming into the Christmas season, as you know, and I'm recording it on the Halloween cusp on October 30th. And that's to go to show you that when people die, we don't go away. We go out of body, but we're not gone, right? So that's the beauty of that story as well. For those of you who may have lost people, may lose people, they're around you and they're trying to get through to you as well. All right. I hope that was useful. Hope you enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, come to my free Mercury webinar, and please consider buying my fundraiser, the $44 product of the 2026 All Signs videos. I didn't say in the front end, but I always use it for business. I buy new equipment, I hire staff if I need them, and then I purpose the money from the sale of this product completely to investing back into this business so I can get better and better products out for you. And I'm also creating a scholarship fund for people to have a course with me or a reading with me if they don't have the money. So some people can apply for that scholarship starting next year using some of the money you guys have so beautifully gifted me by buying a product that's going to help you time your life in 2026. Take care, everyone. Ciao, ciao.